Have you ever felt like your emotions were being held hostage by a relationship? Attachment anxiety can turn your life into an emotional roller coaster, keeping you in a constant state of fear. Fear of being abandoned, misunderstood, or replaced. It's as if every unanswered message feels like a dagger to your self-esteem. And what do most people instinctively do? They try to control. They check their partner's phone, overanalyze messages, and spiral into mental overtime. But what if the real problem wasn't their partner's behavior, but this desperate need to hold on in the first place? This need for control isn't just mentally draining, it's scientifically damaging. Studies from the University of Michigan, yes, science backs this up, show that people with high cravings for interpersonal control are 3 times more likely to develop anxiety disorders. Think about it. Every attempt to micromanage a relationship creates more fear, more pressure, and less emotional safety. Imagine trying to hold water in your hand by squeezing it harder. It spills, right? Control does the exact same thing to your relationships. But here's the twist. This grip you think keeps people close actually pushes them away. Picture trying too hard to make someone stay. It feels suffocating to them and heartbreaking for you. The harder you hold on, the quicker they run. Sounds cruel, doesn't it? That's where the concept of letting go or detachment comes in. A radical, life-changing approach that challenges everything we're taught about love and emotional security. And here's the kicker. It's not about ignoring your feelings, it's about mastering them. Let's dive deeper into this. Detachment isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about understanding what you can and cannot control. Think of it as stepping back from a painting to truly see it, rather than standing so close that all you notice are the brushstrokes. It's about recognizing the unpredictability of life and, instead of trying to fight it, learning to flow with it. Relationships, for example, aren't chess games where you control every move. The harder you push for certainty, the more elusive it becomes. The magic lies in accepting the unknown. Now, let's clear up a common misconception. Detachment isn't the same as emotional suppression. It doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or living in indifference. Instead, it's about feeling deeply, but without letting those emotions dictate your actions. For instance, when someone delays responding to your message, your heart might race. That's natural. The difference with detachment is allowing that sensation to pass without spiraling into assumptions like, they must not care. Detachment creates a space between the emotion and your reaction, giving you more control over your inner peace. So why is detachment so powerful? Life is inherently unpredictable. People change, relationships evolve, and outcomes aren't guaranteed. Trying to control everything is a recipe for exhaustion and heartbreak, yet most people cling to it because it feels safe. But here's the irony. The more you detach from the need to control, the more clarity and freedom you gain. Imagine how much lighter life feels when you're no longer trying to mold what's beyond your power. Intrigued? Wait until you hear about the real costs of holding on too tightly. Holding on too tightly doesn't just hurt relationships. It's a battle you end up losing with yourself. Think about it. How often do you find yourself overthinking what someone meant by a text, replaying conversations in your head, or feeling the need to double-check their every move? This is attachment anxiety in full swing, and it impacts more than just your mood. Studies like one from the University of Michigan show how the need for interpersonal control rewires the brain for constant hypervigilance. Translation: sleepless nights, nagging worry, and a brain stuck in overdrive. This mental loop often leads to behaviors that feel like they're helping but are actually self-sabotaging. Take phone stalking, for example. Every time you scroll through their last online status or reread those unanswered texts, your brain is stuck in a feedback loop powered by dopamine highs and lows. The more you search for reassurance, the less secure you feel. And here's the kicker. You may not even realize these actions are pushing people away. Psychologists call this the effect of reattention, where any attempt to control someone feels like a threat to their freedom, triggering resistance and withdrawal. But the danger doesn't end with relationships. It corrodes your mental health. Constantly trying to control others leaves you drained of energy and, frankly, joy. It's like holding onto a rope that's burning your hands. You know it's hurting you, but you simply can't let go. Here's the secret though. By loosening the grip, recognizing that control is an illusion, you liberate both yourself and others. But how can you replace this toxic cycle with something healthier? True emotional security doesn't come from someone else's actions. It comes from within. Think of it like being a thermostat rather than a thermometer. A thermostat regulates the environment around it, staying steady no matter what's happening externally, while a thermometer simply reacts to the temperature. Emotional security is built on the ability to remain grounded even when life throws curveballs. It's about being in control of your inner world, instead of letting the chaos of external relationships dictate how you feel. Here's the catch. Many confuse proximity with connection. Just because someone is physically or emotionally close doesn't mean genuine value or respect exists. For instance, imagine someone who texts you daily but never truly listens or reciprocates your energy. Without emotional security, you cling to the illusion of closeness, hoping it will transform into real connection. But the truth is, security comes when you stop relying on others to validate your worth and start nurturing your sense of self. Respect and reciprocity are non-negotiable, and emotional independence makes you courageous enough to demand that. So, how does one create this safety within? Start by identifying where you've been depending on others to fill your emotional gaps. Are you prioritizing their approval over your own needs? Reclaiming control of your inner world feels daunting at first, but it's the foundation of relational peace. And here's the powerful twist. When you build emotional security, you no longer grasp for love desperately. Instead, you attract authentic connections that naturally align with your values. But recognizing harmful relationship patterns is the next big step in this journey. Attachment anxiety often leads to behaviors that sabotage the very relationships you want to protect. One of the most damaging is the cycle of fear-based actions rooted in the self-fulfilling prophecy. For instance, the fear of abandonment makes you overanalyze, question, or demand attention, which ironically increases the chances of someone pulling away. It's a heartbreaking loop. The harder you try to hold on, the more you risk losing what you fear most. And worse, this doesn't just harm the relationship, it erodes your own sense of dignity. What many don't realize is how attachment can mirror addiction. The same brain circuits activated by addictive substances, dopamine-driven reward systems, light up when you obsess over someone's attention or approval. This is why you might find yourself compulsively checking your phone or replaying scenarios, chasing that next hit of reassurance. But just like substances, these highs eventually lead to painful crashes. Misguided control, such as jealous questioning or passive manipulation, often disguises itself as care. But it pushes your partner further away while leaving you feeling empty. Even worse, these actions can be seen as an attempt to save or fix someone else. This is what psychologists call the savior syndrome, a hidden need to feel indispensable by constantly rescuing others. But let's be real, dependency isn't love, and no one thrives in a relationship built on control disguised as protection. Breaking these cycles requires self-awareness and courage. When you let go of the need to manipulate outcomes, you create space for healthy, balanced dynamics. But what does it take to practice this level of detachment consciously? Not all love is created equal. The difference between toxic and healthy relationships often boils down to two key factors: intention and behavior under pressure. Take companionate love, for example. It's rooted in kindness, mutual respect, and shared growth. Compare that with passion-driven connections, which, while exhilarating at first, can feel like emotional firecrackers that eventually burn out. A deep, healthy relationship can feel quieter, like a steady flame, rather than the adrenaline-driven highs and lows many mistake for romance. Relationships built on fear or fixation often trace back to childhood attachment wounds. Ever notice how someone might be drawn to a distant partner, only to become consumed by anxiety when things don't go as planned? Harville Hendricks, a prominent therapist, suggests that these patterns are our subconscious attempts to fix unresolved childhood pain. Picture a child who felt neglected by an absent parenting figure. They might grow up chasing emotionally unavailable partners, attempting to rewrite that old script. But here's the hard truth: you can't heal old wounds by picking scabs in new relationships. What makes a healthy relationship? It thrives on gentleness under pressure. Studies on long-term partnership success reveal that kindness, not chemistry, is the catalyst for enduring connection. How your partner treats you in mundane, even stressful situations like a delayed flight or a tough workday reveals more about your future together than grand romantic gestures ever could. When love feels slow-burning, calm, and deeply respectful, rather than chaotic or conditional, that's the real deal. But how do we train ourselves to break the pull toward toxic dynamics and cultivate this quieter, steadier kind of connection? Your brain is wired to seek pleasure, but it's not always your ally. The same dopamine-driven reward circuits that keep you hooked on your favorite dessert or a thrilling TV show are also at work in toxic emotional dynamics. Here's the kicker. Dopamine spikes not when you achieve satisfaction, but in anticipation of it. That's why waiting for a message or refreshing someone's online profile can become so addictive. It's the unpredictability. This neurological pattern, called intermittent reinforcement, keeps the brain craving, much like a slot machine that delivers random wins. But the science of attachment isn't all gloom and doom. Understanding how your emotions function gives you the tools to regain control. The polyvagal theory, for example, explains how your autonomic nervous system shifts between states of safety, calm, connected, and distress, fight, flight, or freeze. Attachment patterns often keep your system stuck in hypervigilance, always scanning for rejection or betrayal. But here's the good news. You can retrain your nervous system. Through breathing exercises, mindfulness, or just building healthier routines, you can ground yourself, teaching your body that it's safe, even in uncertainty. The power lies in recognizing the space between emotion and decision. Yes, emotions like shock, sadness, or anger are natural. They'll always appear when triggered. But what happens next is where the magic happens. A split second of pause can make the difference between reaction and response. Viktor Frankl once said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. And this choice isn't just empowering, it's revolutionary for your mental health. But what happens when we mix this science with spirituality? Detachment might sound like a modern buzzword, but its roots run deep in spiritual traditions across time. Take Christianity, for instance. Verses like, "Do not be anxious about your life," Matthew 6:25, echo this concept of emotional surrender. It's not about ignoring reality or being indifferent, but rather trusting a larger purpose and letting go of the need to control every outcome. Detachment in faith teaches that your worth and peace come from something far greater than fleeting relationships or circumstances. C.S. Lewis framed it perfectly. When we turn earthly things, like relationships, into our ultimate source of happiness, they inevitably disappoint us. This is the danger of idolatry, placing your emotional safety in people who, at their core, are just as imperfect as you are. Detachment from idolizing a partner frees you to love them without unrealistic expectations. Similarly, St. Augustine wrote about the restlessness of the heart. It's a gentle reminder. Nothing external can fill the void meant for deeper spiritual fulfillment. But how do you practice detachment spiritually in real life? It's about aligning your actions with faith in something bigger. When a relationship falls apart, instead of spiraling into despair, ask yourself, what does this teach me about growth? Pair a prayer or meditation with tangible actions, like journaling your emotions or finding joy in service to others. Spirituality doesn't ignore the pain of detachment. It embraces it as a transformative force. And with every surrendered control, you build emotional resilience, paving the way for practical steps to master detachment in your everyday life. Developing detachment is a journey, not an overnight transformation, but it starts with a conscious reset. Think of the first 30 days as a detox period. This means abstaining from the behaviors that keep you emotionally tethered. No stalking their social media, no accidentally running into them, no rereading old conversations for the 100th time. Your brain might resist. It's wired to seek that dopamine hit from familiar patterns. But every time you say no to these actions, you're breaking the cycle. And that's where real freedom begins. Use this time to reconnect with yourself instead. Start a project, take a class, or hit the gym. Fill the silence with purpose. After those initial 30 days, enter the redirection phase. Here's where things get exciting. Every time you catch yourself thinking about them, shift focus onto something productive. You could pour those thoughts into journaling, reflect on your emotions in therapy, or take 5 minutes to visualize your personal goals. For example, the next time you're tempted to check their Instagram, switch gears. Write down one thing you're grateful for, or do 15 push-ups. It may sound simple, but small actions retrain your brain to associate their memory with personal growth instead of longing. This phase is where your mental groundwork solidifies into a new, healthier pattern. Finally, there's rebuilding, the most empowering stage. Now that you've created distance and redirected your energy, you'll start noticing how light you feel. The attachment that once consumed you becomes nothing more than a memory. Picture this: instead of reliving the pain, you think about them with gratitude. Maybe the experience taught you resilience, or perhaps it clarified what you truly value in a partner. This stage isn't about forgetting them altogether. It's about becoming so fulfilled within yourself that their absence no longer dictates your happiness. And as you master this process, you set the foundation for relationships built on respect, not dependency. But how can this shift impact your relationships moving forward? Relationships often feel like the ultimate test of resilience, don't they? When stress hits, whether it's a misunderstanding or a full-blown argument, the true measure of love isn't in grand romantic gestures. It's in the everyday moments where gentleness under pressure becomes the glue that holds you together. Think of the couple that lovingly navigates a stressful delay at the airport versus the pair that explodes into blame and defensiveness. The former has something far more valuable than passion. They've mastered emotional security, patience, and respect. A trifecta that most overlook in their blind pursuit of soulmates. But here's the trap. This idea of a perfect relationship or a destined soulmate often blinds people to reality. How many times do we hear, "If they're the one, it'll just work"? This belief can make you ignore red flags, tolerate toxic patterns, or accept less than you deserve because you're clinging to fate. Truth bomb. Relationships aren't about waiting for destiny to do the work. They're intentional. They demand effort, growth, and mutual respect. Partnering with someone means building together, not waiting for stars to align. Clarity comes from choosing yourself first, setting boundaries, and refusing to settle for chaos disguised as passion. So, what's next? The courage to look within. Ask yourself, am I waiting for someone to save me, or do I trust myself enough to walk alone? It's in this self-reflection that self-esteem and profound growth take root. And when you embrace your journey with confidence, the kind of love you attract transforms entirely. But none of this happens without actionable steps. If you've felt inspired, wait until you see how purpose can help anchor your transformation. Let's wrap this up on a high note with one final invitation to grow. At this point, you're standing at a crossroads. You can either keep circling the same emotional patterns, letting attachment anxiety control your life, or you can choose to reclaim your power and take intentional steps toward personal freedom and self-worth. Ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to stay stuck in a cycle that drains you? What if instead of waiting for someone else to change, you became the architect of your own peace? The choice is yours. Nobody but you can make it. If you're ready to break free, start small, but stay consistent. Implement the techniques we've talked about. Pause the obsessive behaviors. Invest in your growth and rebuild your sense of self-worth brick by brick. Detachment isn't about giving up on love or connection. It's about finding the strength to love yourself enough to let go of what no longer serves you. Transformation takes effort, but imagine how liberating it will feel to wake up without the weight of emotional dependence holding you down. That's the kind of freedom you deserve. So here's what you do now. Commit to this journey and don't keep it to yourself. Hit subscribe, turn on those notifications, and stick around so we can keep building your emotional intelligence together. This isn't just about surviving relationships, it's about learning to thrive in them. Are you ready to start living on your terms? Let's do this together.